maybe some parts of the company aren't talking to others, or the Chucklefish CEO acknowledged, like, hey, we obviously don't know what's going on Sony's side. Like, maybe they don't want to open it up to everyone right now. Like, they're being picky and choosy because it is a beta in their regard. But it's an odd thing to see this happening in the public.
Well, especially to pass the blame like that.
Yeah.
And go, especially coming out off of like a year where everyone was like, make crossplay work. And they're like, no. It doesn't make sense for our business. And everyone was like, no one cares. Make it work. For them to be like, we tried it, and it's cool, and you can try it too, but it's not really our fault. It's up to developers. And then immediately having developers go, no.
Yeah,
we want to. You won't let us.
That's odd. That feels like one of the sort of, let us change our usernames kind of scenarios where it's like, maybe if you don't have anything to say, don't tell people to do something. Mm-hmm. Like that's wait until it's sort of streamlined.
Where's that, by the way?
The changing our names? Right there with the PS5.
It's one of the launch titles for the PS5.
So that's in the kitchen with the burn cops?
Yeah, it's all coming out in 2 to 7 years. It's a weird thing to see companies publicly jockeying for that attention.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this discussion goes. I feel like even with Layden, giving the company stance on interviews, seeing these responses, this is going to be a thing that's going to continue at least for the next year, if not more. But I did want to jump to, before we talk about a few other things, a game that hopefully will have crossplay soon, because it's getting pretty popular, is Apex Legends.
We need only look
which currently doesn't have crossplay.
Respawn
Entertainment has talked about their hoping to bring crossplay to it someday.
That nature
I'd imagine it will
is
probably
a power
be
that cannot be ignored.
Because it recently passed the 25 million mark, and I think it had 2.5 million cards already. This isn't
consuming even the mightiest
What do you guys think about
empires?
How popular this game is? Its place in
and causing the greatest among us.
This felt like bad movie writing, where something becomes too popular too fast. This is like a gag in The Simpsons, where like everyone has yo-yos. Like it happened overnight, literally. Like somebody was, Shinobi on Twitter was breaking down like the popularity of Fortnite over the course of a few months, and like
the human
Apex
spirit endures
leagues faster. And it's crazy because it just came out.
Finding
so it's not even like that
ways
thing
to
where
coexist
a game
with
comes
the
out
earth.
and people are like, yeah, it's okay, I'm playing it, but here are the things that are wrong with it. And they definitely are doing that. But like it's keeping people engaged enough to be like, it's not a wait and see scenario. It's I want this now.
Yeah, and I think what's adding to that is
pursuing a course beyond
people,
distant
myself included,
horizons.
love Fortnite, are terrible at building it.
And
that's something
revealing
that has
paths.
always pushed me off, because when I get to the end of a Fortnite game, Lord forbid I'm still alive.
Both
my best plan is to
innovate.
hope that someone commits suicide and then I get their bazooka and then I win. But what usually happens is like people play 4D chess over my head and build immaculate structures and take me down.
I'm genuinely surprised that Fortnite hasn't been like, hey, here's the vanilla fighting mode. Like it's just a shooter,
And so the other thing is that from first glance, Fortnite is a cartoon game for kids. And again, I love it. It's got a goofy art style and aesthetic, but there are a lot of people, I think Spider-Verse just taught us that won't go see something or play something if it looks childish. Whereas Apex looks like a gritty, mature, adult Call of Duty robot game, right?
Interestingly, though, and I don't even think about this because I'm 32 and completely desensitized to everything, I went down to see family last weekend, and I saw my 13-year-old nephew, who I usually sort of like try to prod and be like, what's cool? Who's that streamer you're watching? What is his secret? But no, I was like, what are you playing? He's like, Apex Legends. I was like, dude, me too.
Yeah.
Sort of, when I'm home. But I was like, what do you like about it? He's like, oh, well, I like that I can play it because it doesn't have blood, because my mom let me play it. And I was like, oh, that's right. That's the thing that moms shut down sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like, again, I looked at it, I was like, yeah, it's like Titanfall. It looks gritty.
Well, because I think children everywhere will go out of their way to play Call of Duty, but I don't think
the steady hum of machinery, the acrid smell of smoke,
all that
vision
audience
clouded by ash and soot. These are the signs of
it works in reverse. Because again, lots of adult burly men are like, no, I don't want to play the game. With
I like that it's also just they've totally streamlined some great traversal in Titanfall. And initially, I heard about this and I was like, wait a minute, they made Titanfall as a battle royale, but there's no Titans and there's no wall running. I don't care. And then I played it for 5 minutes and I was like, this is still extremely fun, and my robot has zip lines.
They know how to make shooters.
Yes. It's like what they say about dieting. They're like, don't focus on what you can't have. Yeah. Like, celebrate what's there.
Yeah.
You know, which is burnt salad. No, so like I had the gut reaction too, where I was like, no robots and no wall running, and it was like, oh, well, traversal is still insane in this game. It's still incredibly quick. And so celebrate what it's doing well instead of like what it's not doing well. And of course, like, you know, we covered it last week, but seconds later they were like, by the way, Titanfall 2 is still happening, or 3. So
we're still making more. Yeah, they said a premium Titanfall experience is coming, news at least this year.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
Which is like, we've seen that game has actually had an uptick in players because it's on sale for like $6 right now. And also people are like, I want more of what these guys do, which I love seeing.
Yeah.
By the way, do that when you go see a movie and you're like, who made this movie? Go watch their other movies. And like when you hear an album and you're like, what inspired this album? Go do that. Just
you want to keep seeing the great stuff and you experience all of it.
Support it all.
It's this interesting thing though, like seeing this rise. I don't think it's necessarily going to be like goodbye Fortnite in 2 weeks. Like I don't think that's going to.
No.
It's not going to be anything
Fortnite's
like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of Apex Legends dominance right now, like it was that huge surprise overnight thing. But EA also has Anthem coming out soon, which it's not a battle royale necessarily, but it is a heavily online multiplayer focused game. Do you see this kind of backfiring on them a little bit? Because I don't think they imagined this was going to happen.
No, yes, and justifiably it should. This is Respawn's revenge. After a couple years ago, where Titanfall 2 went head to head with Battlefield within like 4 days,
it was
and
in
got
between.
killed.
Yeah.
Because it was the sort of lesser-known title, and it was the first time it was appearing on multi-platform and not just platform exclusive to one place. And it was story-focused. And people went for the military shooter instead.
Yeah, oh, by the way, Battlefield is still kind of late to the party with their
the Battle Royale.
Firestorm or whatever. Yeah, which I want to check that out because I like Battlefield, but
Max,
I'm also just like...
You played a significant amount of Anthem. Do you think this is going to be something that people sort of ignore in favor of something that's free?
I don't think so. I think that Anthem is one of those sort of, like, I think inevitably because of the scale of it, it's going to come out and they're going to have to sort of I don't know if it's going to perform as well as EA wants because they want, you know, to own us all and conquer everything. But I mean, I think it's gonna. They're probably like, well, it performed admirably, and we were hoping for more, but we've also got a 10-year plan in place. I think it's the same thing as sort of like you can have Destiny and Call of Duty coexisting. Like a ton of people, even if they were sort of like lapsed Call of Duty players, jumped on Blackout because it was like, oh, it's a AAA Battle Royale, hell yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
And you know, people are still playing Destiny. I don't know what the hell they're talking about because I noped out of that game after the
you can find out what they're talking about.
You know,
Fire Team Chat.
If it doesn't succeed, though, we might actually hear more transparently than that. Because did you read the numbers on Battlefield?
On Battlefield, no.
Yeah, I think they said it sold around 6 or 7 million, which underperformed for them.
Yeah.
Because I think the last one sold way more than that. A lot of factors involved there, but I think we would probably know very soon. The thing is, Vince Zampella tweeted just yesterday that 25 million people, as of yesterday, I'm sure that number's doubled already, are playing or have downloaded or have interacted with in some way with their new game. So I don't know. I don't see Anthem doing those kind of numbers.
No, I think Anthem is still sort of rooted in a kind of old school, you know, thing where you buy the thing in the box and then you get stuff after the fact. But like, it's weird to see like something like Fortnite or Apex Legends is a launcher. And you get it for free, and anything, you know, Trojan horses in microtransactions and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's just sort of like, here it is.
Yep.
It's out there. I mean, it's kind of like crack dealer logic, where it's like, oh, that first taste is yours. But to be like, oh, $60 for a thing, and then maybe I like what comes after. I think we're definitely going to see Anthem probably get a boost around, you know, holiday season time.
Sure. Yeah.
And, you know, EA is going to continue like funneling money into that to be like, we're going to build this ecosystem, and, you know, eventually there's going to be like Anthem, the Forsaken King edition that comes out in next year.
Do you know what's like immensely awesome right now and incredibly refreshing is that 2 of the most popular video games on Earth are free to play, and the only way to give them money is for cosmetic nonsense. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Like
it's such a different landscape.
Right? If people take that message away, and instead of going like, oh, we'll piecemeal. I saw a meme going around yesterday about the Beatles, and it was like, here's the Beatles, and it was like, here's EA's the Beatles, and the EA in the Beatles was spelled with the EA logo, and like they were selling John for like $4.99, and like Paul for $5.
You can get the Ringo song.
Yeah,
for 99
exactly.
cents.
That's what people thought about the way video games were heading. And if you look at mobile gaming, a lot of it's like that too.
Yeah.
But if Fortnite and Apex are to be like determine the way things are going, then that means that a lot of companies' takeaways from this are going to be make a massive, awesome game that's super fun to play, put it out for free, and if people like it, they'll buy clothes.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
this
it's
also
so cool.
This also got me I very much doubt this will be a free-to-play thing that just goes out there, but the new Star Wars game that Respawn's working on, that definitely was kind of like a little bit of like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, yeah.
I like the first 2 Titanfalls. I think they're awesome. I think Titanfall 2 especially is a phenomenal game. But I think the scale with which they were just, and just the grace that they like stuck the landing on Apex, just being like, poof, here it is.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, hi, thank you, great, wonderful. You know, it's like.
Think about that rollout versus Vince Zampella on a park bench at E3 being like, oh, by the way, we're making a new Star Wars game.
If he was like, it's out now and it's free, I'd be like, this is a great game. I enjoy it. But it's like, you didn't even show me the lightsabers. I hate you.
You and I were talking about this earlier, but I think that Apex Legends has more in common with something like Cloverfield Paradox or Bird Box, although it's actually really good, unlike those things.
I reviewed Cloverfield Paradox.
I'm sorry.
That was a nightmare.
Yeah. In that it just showed up out of nowhere and became part of the conversation, and people were like, well, it's free. I didn't have to pre-order it. I haven't been tracking its release for 7 years, smelling the burnt smoke from the back of the kitchen. We'll keep bringing that salad into the conversation. And it just sort of appears out of nowhere. There was a Jeff Keighley tweet on, like, what, Monday, being like, it's coming. And then as of Friday, the week before, some influencers were, like, not so tight-lipped about it.
There were a couple leaks that happened and everything. But even despite that, it was this overnight huge success.
Yeah, it's cool.
Incredible.
And they had a day one launch stream, and they said the game's available right now, and everyone downloaded it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Every day after work now, the game that's being played in the IGN break room is Apex Legends.
Yeah, I mean that's effectively a viral game release.
Yes.
The interesting thing is, I was in like a bar and I looked over and an Anthem commercial was on TV, and I'm so sort of disconnected from like mainstream marketing media stuff, despite of living in the fucking eye of the hurricane there. I was just like, and I immediately got distracted from the conversation to stare at a TV commercial for a game that I've played like 6 hours of or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's an odd thing to do, but I always wonder about that sort of casting a wider net and really getting people who maybe aren't initially drawn to games to be like, do they care about this?
Yeah.
Does this look like Iron Man versus Avatar? It kind of does. Is that cool for people?
I get many of the first 10 million people who played Apex Legends were not the people who are being spoken to via those TV commercials. It's playing to a very different audience at that point. And I'm curious to see where the life of Anthem goes.
I think the first 10 million was core gamers. It was people who follow influencers, people who follow outlets and magazines.
They had Ninja streaming it.
Yeah, all that stuff. And then from there, it was all word of mouth, and that's where it will continue to go. And I don't even know. Have you ever seen a Fortnite commercial? Did they need to?
No.
I mean, I don't think Coca-Cola needs to advertise either, but what do I know?
They put real Durr burgers in the world.
Yeah.
That's their advertising.
Exactly. Everyone I know has canceled cable, so it's not really like a viable place. That's why it's so fascinating to see a video game commercial.
They still make this.
Yeah. I don't understand like the people who like sports to begin with. I don't understand what people who like sports in a bar would make of like the Iron Man fighting the dinosaurs and stuff.
Human
advancement in the middle of the Super Bowl would be very weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would actually, more than any game, I would pay to see the reactions of the people in a sports bar.
Yeah, those YouTube videos would be amazing.
Some guy being like,
I think it's like when
Donald Duck.
I think it's like when dogs see a mirror and they just don't see anything. They're just like, nah. Sometimes they do.
Some
maybe
of them
they
bark at
Maybe
it.
they'd be like, "Why is there Goofy there?" But other ones would just be like,
Well, obviously, with Apex Legends out right now,
The steady hum of machinery.
There's also this
The
weird
acrid
interesting
smell
gap
of
I want to talk
smoke.
about. Essentially,
Vision
before
clouded
this,
by ash and
Friday,
soot.
the 15th,
These are the signs of changing
a
times.
weird glut of games.
The lure
We're seeing
of scientific
Metro
and
Exodus,
cultural
Jump
advancement
Force, Far Cry New Dawn,
is the engine driving your realm
on
forward.
Xbox, we're seeing Crackdown
Now
3
your
come out,
challenge is to
and then,
maintain the
people who
delicate
have EA
balance
access to
between
Yes
earth and
and
man,
all
between
these games are
peace
coming out on the same
and
day.
war.
Obviously, they didn't all know Apex
And so
Legends
it is
was
upon
going
your
to
broad
to
shoulders,
that-
Theodore
isn't that great?
Roosevelt,
I think everybody
to
was
charge
like,
forth and
this
lead
is a
your
pretty
people
quiet
on
day,
their
and
great
everyone was like,
adventure.
we think so too, and they all
Use your
just
military
piled
might
on
to
us
give the
one day.
peoples of
And
your
then a week before,
homeland
this
the
game comes
square
out of nowhere
deal
that we've
they
never
so
heard of, that is
desperately
the dominating
deserve.
conversation.
Yeah.
Surely,
I
you will
have-
raise America into the limelight and attract
I've played
visitors
and
from across the
completed Far Cry
oceans
New Dawn.
just to see
I
your
have lots to
lands.
say about it. The embargo
Bully for
lifts
you, Mr.
in
President.
24 hours, so I can't give you any sort of like anything. Next week I'll talk all about it. But yeah, that's a big one. Crackdown is this week. You know, we just Ryan McCaffrey wrote a preview about that just about a week ago. So that's about as close to release as you can get. So if you like what you read there, then that's what it's not one of those things where it's like, with 7 days to go, the developers still have plenty of time.
Yeah.
So that's that. Metro has been a weird blind spot for me my entire career. It's just it's something I've. But you were telling me it's open worldy this time, which sounds
it's got
really
like
cool.
outposts and stuff. I've haven't gone hands on with that. We've done like a few sort of like wrap up videos that involve doing like research on the previous games, which I've only dabbled in, and then just being like, oh, interesting. And then that seems like, I feel like third games in series are often like huge flying leaps forward, and this very much seems like that. And I'm very excited to see what happens.
It's the one I'm most interested to see because it seems the most different from what's come before. And then you have something huge like Jump Force, which anytime we post about it on IGN does massive traffic.
Yeah, but we really should pump the brakes on anime coverage. I don't know if people are into that kind of thing.
People aren't.
I don't know if this Japanimation craze is going to catch on.
One day, I believe in it. But yeah, there are 1,000 business factors why these days happen, but do you think anyone benefits from it? Because I feel like consumers at that point then have to make hard decisions if they want more than one game.
No, it reminds me of this Christmas's like holiday lineup. The movie things where it was Mary Poppins, Spider-Verse, Aquaman, Bumblebee, Mortal Engines, and then Welcome to Marwen all came out within like 10 days of each other.
And then Alita got delayed.
And Alita was like, we're getting the hell out of there. And now I don't know how Alita's
and now it
comes
out this week with all these games.
Exactly. And now everyone's going to be playing games instead of seeing Alita.
Well, and then Happy Death Day to You also comes out, which like the first one was a pretty big cult classic.
The McRib is back.
The McRib is coming back.
I made that up.
It's probably coming back. Netflix is debuting the Umbrella Academy adaptation.
What men want. Which is to play video games instead of seeing a remake of a Mel Gibson movie.
What women want. It's such a weird phenomenon that we've seen like once in a while. There was an...
It's not YouTube jacking it up.